We're at IFS Connect 2023 in Kraków, Poland. And next to me is Oliver Pilgerstorfer.
Very good.
Yeah, that was very good. Okay, good. Who's in fact a CMO of IFS. Hi.
Hi, great to see you.
Great to see you again. And I would like to start our conversation with a thing that is, I believe, very important today. And it's the thing that we've already talked today earlier, and that is a user experience. Because, you know, there's a tendency that business software is well considered not the best user-friendly kind of software, right? And your company is, you say it very often, customer-centric. And in your marketing approach, how do you think that this user experience is important for your company? How is it in your marketing strategy?
Absolutely. So I would say that actually it's not part of our marketing strategy. I mean, companies that focus on user experience that don't actually deliver a good user experience, they get found out very quickly. We've spent a lot of time thinking about user experience across the board of how our customers engage with us. And so I think the obvious thing when it comes to customer experience is, how does the software look? How does it act? How do I engage with it? Does it think about me and my next step during that whole process? But equally, we think a lot broader than just the user experience of using the software, but the whole engagement of a customer with IFS. So from a marketing perspective, it's hugely important in the customer journey to ensure that you're giving a fair reflection of how IFS operates and how we will engage with the customer from the moment a prospect actually initially engages with IFS. So how does our website look? How do we talk in the market? What are the things that we really value?
Because your customer has changed quite dramatically since the beginning of the company, right? And the software must have, change quite rapidly, right?
In some respects,
we already have Gen Zs at the working market.
Well, I think that's a crucial point. I mean, just to kind of, I guess, articulate your point a little bit more, our software has changed. It has absolutely evolved with the IFS Cloud Platform launch. But I guess some of the parts of our DNA that make a great user experience haven't. And you know, our deep belief that industry expertise is really important for giving great value and fast value to our customers, that hasn't changed. And we built differentiation and accelerated how we think about user experience off those points of differentiation. But your point about Gen Zs and the new workforce is spot on. I mean, I think about how I and my younger relatives, what they're used to, and thinking about that next generation of 20, 25-year-olds coming into the workplace who are used to using Instagram and TikTok and all of these other social media tools, and suddenly they walk into a workplace or they start work from their home and they're presented with these tools that look like they're from the 1990s. Not acceptable. So I think it's completely within reason that we've got to think about how users are engaging with our technology and make sure that the way that we think about that delivery is in line with user adoption. Because if people aren't using your software, it's pretty useless. And every company, especially in our space, wants to deliver a great user experience. So you're not just getting the automated input of data from machines, but you're also getting users to engage with it. Both input of information, but also extracting information from that tool. Otherwise, why have we got the technology?
That's true. And our industry, IT industry, is very fast. It changes quite rapidly. And what kind of strategies do you employ to stay up to date as a company?
I mean, that's a very general point, but we look at a couple of things. I guess partly to build on the answer from the question you asked before, is understanding user behavior and consumer needs are huge. And consumer, I mean, as in people using our tool. So, we have a process in place where we have now got points across the customer journey to understand how well we're doing at different gates. So from our first engagement, from the pre-sales experience, through to the sale experience, through to the initial understanding and project delivery, through to the go live, through to a year after. And we're asking questions across the life cycle of a customer.
So you got the feedback all the line up.
And to ensure that we know where we're doing things wrong, or where we can improve. And that's hugely meaningful for a business like us to know where we should be improving. So, I think about that as being a hugely important input into our decision making to answer that broad question. But equally, we've got to have a view outside. So if we just did what customers wanted and asked for, we wouldn't be able to help them push the boundaries. And so when it comes to things like new technology investments, we try to look for the best people in the market that will be able to develop the most compelling propositions, and they absolutely have to be tested against user needs. But sometimes you have to push the envelope a little bit to make sure that you're not just answering a question, but you're helping progress a company and ensuring it's done within the context of their own operations.
Okay. And can you share a specific example of the most successful marketing campaign you led for your company? And I know that's a tough question for a CMO.
It is. I probably would talk about something that's very demand generation focused, and I'm really proud of some of the work that my team has done, especially when we look at trying to identify compelling use cases for prospects and demonstrating how we can add value. So we spend a lot of time looking at those different use cases, and it might be, I don't know, one of our competitors is forcing their customers to the cloud, and that customer base doesn't like the fact that they haven't got the choice. They're being bullied into moving to a system that they don't want to move to. And I'm really proud of some of the work that my team has done in terms of identifying that audience, creating compelling messaging, putting it out there in a different way, but then really quite clearly we can see the results coming from it. So I'd like to say our competitive takeout demand generation campaigns, they're really at the lifeblood of our growth as a business. On the other side of the coin, we've obviously got the stuff that's a little bit more in the spotlight. One of the activations that I'm also proud of the team in activating around is the rebrand of the cable car in London, which for the price that we paid is a compelling proposition and something that we have really been able to activate around from a brand perspective. Effective. Yeah, but from a brand perspective, I mean, all 10 million Londoners see it, all of the travellers visiting see
Tourists.
It. And also then the business travellers as well. It's right by the biggest trade location or trade show venue in the UK. And we know a lot of our competitors run events there, a lot of industry trade shows happen there. And also friends of ours at organisations like Gartner and IDC, they're running events there as well. So we can really get a compelling message to a key audience across. But there are so many, and I'm going to offend half of my team by not referencing some of their work. But it's super great to be here today, just with our local Polish team running an event for record number of customers and prospects.
I wanted to ask you that. How do you like this event? I mean,
I love it.
I believe it's like almost a half larger than it was a year before. So
I mean, there's not much for somebody like you who's observing and following our journey of growth. We put out numbers to the market about how we're evolving our financial results and our financial success, which is clearly a great demonstrator of our growth. But the proof of the pudding is in exactly something like this, where you come year on year and you see 50% extra attendees. And the mix that we've got this year at this Polish IFS Connect event, I mean, the mix is around a quarter of the attendees are of prospects.
I've noticed that's a lot of your customers.
Which is a huge proportion if you consider, new companies considering IFS who just didn't do that in the past. So I think real testament to our growth.
Speaking about new customers, as I know, most of current growth of a company is based on new customers, right? And why do you think that they choose your company exactly?
I think a couple of reasons. I think, in all honesty, some of our peers in the industry are not treating their customers as they should do, and so
you mean the vendor lock?
And the vendor lock-ins and all of this other type of stuff. It just is a very unwelcome message. And at the end of the day, we champion this message around choice. We provide people with great technology. We care deeply about the user experience. We have some of the best technology that's out there. And I think that melting pot of delivering great experiences with compelling industry technology that's at the forefront of what people want is a concoction that is attractive. So I think word gets around. People see our marketing. They hear the stories from their peers in their own industry who are using our technology, and so that's a compounding effect, which is great to see. I would say just one point on that is, you're right that we have got a lot of prospects here. That's true. Equally, I'm hugely motivated by the number of customers that we've got here who have been very loyal with us for many years.
And we just interviewed one of your customers who's with you for 23 years.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, it's not an exception.
And the nice stories about those customers is that we've been through their growth journey as well. So we may have started with them when they were a medium-sized company, and now they're blossoming on becoming a real, enterprise juggernaut in their own industry. And to be part of that success, that's hugely rewarding for myself and for my colleagues.
We've heard some of those stories today at the stage, right?
Good.
And okay, and the last question, which I totally forgot about. How do you approach understanding and segmenting the target audience for IT products or services? And can you provide an example of how you've successfully targeted a specific market segment?
Yeah, so I mean, I've talked several times about industry focus, and that's powerful when you're thinking about how you segment and you talk to a prospect or a current customer. They want you to speak in their language, and that does differ from each industry, but also in sub-industry.
And also by region, right?
And also by region. You think about some of the pressures that Poland's under at the moment with high inflation, with the challenges around political situations.
And energy costs.
Energy costs blossoming. Many of these things are pressures that we see in other countries, but actually speaking in a way to, for example, an energy producer, to make sure that we're able to help them be agile and efficient in the way that they operate, because there are going to be a camp of their stakeholder group putting them under pressure from pricing, but then there's another stakeholder group who's making sure that they're environmentally friendly, and all of these pressures are under the companies. And if you can speak in their language in a compelling way, that's really how we've developed that expertise and brought it to reality in our initial engagement. But then clearly the product has to deliver on that too. So I'm a big believer that whilst marketing can deliver great attention and can deliver great interest in your product, you really lose a lot of faith from a prospect if then your follow-up and your actual product doesn't deliver. And so we try to stay true when we're communicating to actually what the values of our product, and what they offer.
And last question, what's the secret? What's the secret of that you've already have the growth, you kept the growth as a company, even though the economic situation in the region isn't very best? We can see that the region economy is slowing down, but your growth is not.
Continues.
Yeah, what's the secret?
Well, we can't give you all of our secrets for starters.
All right, that's why they're called secrets, right?
But I mean, a guiding North Star for every employee in our business is to put our customer first. And if you have that customer obsession and that decision making is always based on what's best for your customer, that prevails into making sure that you're thinking really about what matters to to the most important stakeholder
because
group.
You build trust.
Because you're building trust, and then your customers hear that, they see it, you react to that. And I think that's really what then builds confidence in you as a company. And so when a prospect or a current customer of ours is going through a hard time, they come to us as a trusted advisor as much as a company that will sell them technology. And if we can demonstrate how our technology delivers value, and in some situations that might be cost optimization, For others, it might be building a new business line and revenue stream within their business. And if we can prove that we can do that when times get tough or when times even are blossoming and good, we become a trusted partner for them to really accelerate their own business transformation.
Great. Oliver, thank you for today's talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great speaking.